are oppressed people that are simply fighting back. So, Smithsonian article, which you can go and look up, little known story of World War II's last million displaced. I mentioned that to you already. Told you that there were a million displaced Ashkenaz. And so what they came up with was something called a plan of partition. And with this plan of partition, they were going to divide things up, with the Palestinians getting the smallest portion. And Israel being left in, the Ashkenaz being left in control of Israel and being able to decide the laws and how much they take. Because they've continued to take land and make it smaller and smaller. And generationally, they've taught people to think of Palestinians as less than, to call all of them terrorists. I saw some interviews. Man, guy was just trying to walk to his house, and they wouldn't let him walk to his house. Sometimes you got to get away from some of the, even national news that we have here, right? Because this was a guy from Australia that was filming. Wouldn't even let this guy walk to his house. And we're interviewing other young people. And when I mean young adults, younger's getting younger to me every day. Older's getting younger. Anyway, these young folks that were in their 20s and called him a terrorist. Man's coming home from work just right. But they've been conditioned to think that way. And I submit to you, so have we. But they took their land from them. They went to refugee camps. I got a lot of pictures with them walking along roads and all of that. They divided all of it up. No place to go. No food to eat. Currently, Israel, the apartheid system, they control all the water and electricity. When October 7th happened, that's the first thing they did was cut off the water and electricity because they control it. I got some stuff I'm going to show you. It's just going to blow your mind. So I need you, let's put this in perspective. I know that there are people that are viewing this that don't live here in Cincinnati, but there are places that I've been to, San Antonio, Indianapolis, places that have circle freeways. So I want you to imagine, those of you especially that are right here in Cincinnati, I want you to imagine what I'm about to tell you. The 275 loop that goes around Cincinnati. Now, you know all the neighborhoods: Indian Hill, Avondale, Evanston, Mount Healthy, Hamilton, Fairfield. You know the areas that are inside that loop: Deer Park, Mason, all of that within that loop. Now imagine that everybody inside that loop gets put out of their houses with no place to go, because that's exactly what happened. They get put out of their houses with no place to go. That was the Nakba. That was the catastrophe. That's when they lost their land. That's when the maps were redrawn and all of that in 1948. 1946, they start coming. 1947, they start moving these people out of their homes and all of that. 1948, they become a nation, and America sanctions it. I've got a newspaper clipping. It isn't, I didn't put it in this section. It might be in one of the others. Just has the newspaper in the title that America, we're cool with it. So again, and this is, I'm doing all of this on purpose. You got to control these people. It started back then. They still do it now. There's people that prior to this conflict that had to go through 4 checkpoints sometimes just to go to work. And indiscriminately you could get arrested. There was a protest that happened, a peaceful protest. Israeli snipers opened fire on innocent people, just killing them because they've been conditioned to believe that these people have no value. And what baffles me, at least looking at it from the 40s as they became a nation, the same thing had just been done to them. Another little side note when I've lectured on this that I think is important. I've seen a couple numbers on this. Israel's skin cancer rate, second in the world. When they moved to, now our bodies adapt, and I'll talk about some of that later because Noah's son Japheth, when he went to Europe, he went black, and I'm going to prove that to you. But there wasn't enough time. If they had been there in AD 70, which I've already proven to you that they were not, you know, when the temple was destroyed and, you know, the 1 million Christians walked out unscathed, by the way. But when the temple was destroyed and all those people left Jerusalem, they weren't in that group. And there hadn't been enough time in 2,000 years for them to come back and end up number 2. I saw something else and I don't know what the year that was. I believe it was around the same time, 1948. Number 2, number 5 in skin cancer. And they're still number 15 in the world. Why? Because it's not where you're from. It's not where you're from. Are you with me? Are you with me? I suggest you grab a pen and paper and you come back to this whenever you can and you take some notes, because any one of these pieces can be a story.